So this guy's what we got to work with. It's a 6x12 all aluminum, and as you can see, it's not something that would take very far down a trail. So right now this is the stock axle system. You can see I've got about 13 inches. But then where we really struggle, you come under here, you go to the shackle, and I've got 5 inches of clearance, maybe 7.5 to the actual axle itself. I bought the timber and axleless kit to replace the current axle. I went with the 3,500 pound heavy duty option with 2 inches of lift. Good number of the roads I plan to take this thing on are super rutted, so with the traditional axle, I end up dragging it long before anything else. I just got the cross member driven through. Still have to bolt it. There's 2 little bolts that go there, and same on the other side, but it's through and good to go. So I bought these wheels and tires to throw on the trailer, and I got them home. Lug spacing's all good, clearance is good. It sits maybe 2 inches off the back. The problem is there's this little lip right here on the hub. It's raised maybe 2 millimeters, but it's about 4 millimeters wide. So if I flip this over, you can see right in here, this catches and doesn't allow the seat completely on. So what I did, I'll show you on this one, is I cut that material out. I ended up actually using a really cheap Harbor Freight router and just kind of slowly worked it down piece by piece. It actually worked out pretty well. It jumps around a little bit. It's not the most precise piece. Obviously, like a nice mill or something would be the best way to do it, but it did work and it came out smooth surface. It's lug centric, so it's not gonna really matter. I just have to remove this material. You can kind of see if I get under here just how much more ground clearance there really is. That beam's up there, but everything's looking pretty good right now. I'll have to measure the toe and the camber, get it all situated here, but it's progress. Fender's just mocked up right now. It's not actually screwed in, but you can see with the extra length just how ridiculous it would look like that. I think eventually I'm gonna probably replace them with something a lot sturdier, but for now I'm gonna try and lop them off. So I'm removing all this adhesive from the backing here, and I'll show you one of the reasons why. Right here, here's the adhesive still in, and obviously not very secure. This is the residue that is stuck to this panel, but is not at all to the stud, so it just wobbles all the way down. There's a little bit up here, a little bit the sticking, but eventually that's gonna go too, I'm sure. So I'm gonna pull it out and come from the other side, rivet this panel back here onto this stud. So this is another area up front, kind of shows what I'm talking about. I close the door, look at all that light coming through. So obviously gonna need to address that. I continued the diamond plate down around each side to provide some additional protection and honestly just kind of help improve the aesthetics of the trailer. Coming along pretty nicely. So, got most of the insulation in, obviously missing a spot there. Window's gonna go there. I think the diesel heater outlet's gonna go there because there's already a pre-existing hole. Got a little bit of tape to throw up on there, but for the most part, it's pretty close to done. Next piece of business is gonna be throwing on this 1/4-inch fan fold. And I'm just gonna basically cover the entire area with that 1/4-inch fan fold. The goal is right now I have a thermal bridge between the outside with this stud, and so I don't want to create a bunch of condensation coming through. And this way I'll at least have a little bit of a barrier in between the siding that's going to sit on top. Obviously there's still going to be screws going through, but That will at least create a little better thermal break than what is currently existing. All right, got the tread plate on. Looks way better. Got the fenders mounted back up. Time to take a sander to the top third, or 2/3 technically. Get rid of that all that goo from wherever the dinky previous guy put the for sale sign on with a bunch of goo gone. That's what all that square is. So finally get rid of all that, and then we're gonna paint it. Time to go to town with this guy. First coat's on. Just a light coat right now. You can still see kind of a couple areas like where the back of the trailer's still through, so hopefully second coat will clean that up. It's obviously drying at different rates, but got the first of the awning brackets mounted up. Pretty healthy amount of butyl tape here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some sealant over the top just so it's good to go. Anyway, second one's gonna mount up there, and then you can see I have to have a little bit of an offset so that the backing nuts can go in. I need to tighten the nut, but the bolt is on the other side. Obviously I can't reach both sides at once because my arms aren't that long. I've got to be on top of the trailer and underneath at the same time, which I can't do. You can see the other one there, and this one I already tightened up. But I just duct taped it against the wall so that as I tighten it, just holds it right here. So that way I can go up top and tighten it. Awning's on. Looking a little less like a cargo trailer, a little more like a, I don't know, whatever it'd be now, but a little less utilitarian now. With the guy lines out, it is pretty sturdy. All right, use the back side of the window. Made the template. I've got a hole. Trying to trim it up. Get the window to fit. All right, got the bottom half of the seater on. Got the door latch mounted up. Sure everything still functions right. So yeah, top half and then the window. Little test fit for the window. It's looking good. I wanted to make sure that everything in here is good. It's got to basically pinch this in here to seal this gasket in between here so the screws can't bottom out, but then there can't be too big of a gap right there, otherwise you'll see in between. So I think it's gonna work out. Screen and blackout. So this is the first coat. On the second side I'm doing, you can kind of see, obviously you can still see it through. It looks really streaky, and I've learned that you kind of just want to get just a little bit of texture down and get something for it to roll on, otherwise it just kind of smears. So you just need like a light first layer, and then I'll show you after the second coat how much better it looks. As with most things, the more you do it, the better you get. I put a lot heavier coat on this other side for the second coat, and the finished product turned out so much better. So I'll do the same thing. I'll throw a third coat, I guess, technically on the opposite side, and should be good to go there. I also realized that I never redid the measurements. I did for myself, but I didn't photograph it. So here is just shy of 18 inches for ground clearance. Got 14.5 inches of the cross member, and then maybe just shy of a foot to the actual axle itself. I didn't want the spare tire on the back ramp or anywhere inside. It's already small enough, so I had my friend weld this up and weld it to the front tongue. The basket's a little bit oversized, but I've actually got some bigger tires on order, and I want to make sure it's still going to be able to fit those. It's pretty tight, but it does clear the back of the trailer there, as you can see. It's designed where I can still raise and lower the trailer with the impact, so it still clears in right there. One other little addition I did was throw the step on and just kind of tucks in when you're not using it, and then slide out. Try to get something fairly low profile so I'm not losing a lot of my ground clearance. This guy just riveted on the other day. Just kind of a nice little platform for cooking on, preparing food, whatever, not having to be inside. The whole point is to not be stuck inside this thing. Whenever you're not using it, just kind of folds up pretty, oh, just kidding. Kind of hard to do one-handed. There. So I picked up some treated 4x8s, and that's gonna replace the OSB that's in it. So the vision with this trailer was to have a base for camping. We got a growing family, but we wanted to retain the ability to haul a dirt bike or a snow machine. And we wanted something that we could stay in for the drive back home to Alaska, something we could drag down a trail and not have to worry about tearing up in the process. And that's one of the reasons why I went with a 6x12. It's not very uncommon for the trails to be pretty narrow, and we didn't want something that the trailer would be wider than the tow vehicle. So wanted something that if tow vehicle could get through, then it would make it through. Success. Well, got the first real progress of the inside done. Got some vinyl flooring in. Still need to put some trim and all that. Up here I stopped it because that's going to be the cabinet area. I didn't really ever video it, but I did replace all the OSB with the pressure treated stuff. And yeah, starting to look like it's coming somewhere. Walls and ceiling next. Next video I should have the bigger tires on, and we'll get some more progress done on the inside, so we'll just keep transforming the trailer bit by bit.